right. So, thank you guys for joining for yet another weekly community call. And I we have a lot of exciting things to go over today. Uh, as briefly sketched in the agenda beforehand, I get to talk to you guys about the four upcoming skills, and then me and Euler will talk about more about more alpha of the upcoming lands, masks, and answer any questions you might have uh, along the way. And pretty exciting announcement at the end as well regarding parties and something some of you guys already have in your inventory.
Yeah, I almost forgot about small surprise we have at the end. But yeah, let's get it. Sounds we have agenda for today. I guess we'll hop on and off from agenda to like answer some questions in the chat. So again, feel free to say out loud what do you think. And yeah, so what do we have on the skills, Joel?
I wanted to ask whether there's something you want to say, or can I just get right into it? So as you guys know, there's four more skills unreleased that we are planning to release at the same time. And I talked with our design team and figured out how much I can say and, how much I can tease. And then, yes. So I got everything. So the four skills uh, remaining to be released is mining, crafting, soul crafting, and shamanism. And there's a reason why we are not releasing two by two, but four of them at the same time, because essentially these skills finish the game loop and they complement each other so well. And I'm so excited about them, and I do strongly believe you will be as well. So let's start with the simplest one of them all, so to say, mining. Uh, it's pretty straightforward, but the way I'm going to talk about these skills is what's going to come out at launch, and then I'm going to like sprinkle in some like land angles there and maybe full release angles for them as well. So mining involves you mining resources to further afterwards process them and create something out of them. So at release, mining will have four resources you can gather. These resources being tin, copper, iron, and coal. Uh, and it's pretty straightforward. You find these resources similar like fishing or wood. You find them in the world. You mine them.
I think we
You
lost you.
acquire them. I'm lost. Hello, hello. Wait, Tyler can
Oh,
hear
okay,
me.
then I lost you.
Oh my god. uh, Jump scare. All right. Mining will require a pickaxe. All right. So, where was I? You get these ores. You obviously bang them. They're not stackable. Or you can go and smell them immediately. Through crafting, you will require to process these ores, and it's quite simple in the beginning. Tin and copper, as everywhere else, creates bronze. Then you have iron that creates iron, and in the combination with coal, you can get steel. Now, to kind of comment on the future, every one of further ores, like starstone for celestial, they will all require coal in addition to process them. So, kind of just to highlight here that even though meadows and deserts are a lot, uh, coal will be one of the essential resources all throughout the game. So that's a pretty cool angle, a way to look at it. But woodcutting also gets a small expansion with crafting. And we are now moving into the crafting. Woodcutting also gets a small expansion. Now the wood you acquire, like spirit logs, you will be able to process them into 3 different materials, such as planks for that will be used in offhand crafting. And through crafting, you will be able to craft main hands, offhands, and armor initially. There's a more functionality that I will tell you guys all about. So, where have we gotten? We have gotten our ore, we have processed it, we have gotten our wood, we have processed it, and then you can create, as I mentioned, you can create armor, offhand or main hand items. The way the crafting works is, let me walk you through it. For example, how to create, let's say, a bronze shield. You mine tin, you mine copper, you process it into bars, bronze bars, by combining them all. Then you take your spirit logs, you process it into planks, and then you combine it into a shield. And that kind of goes for them all. Similar, you create these rods from wood, and then you create some main hand items. So when I was going through it, and maybe now you're listening, all you hear is, oh, item inflation, right? So many items, and who will wear them all? Great point. But keep that in mind for a bit later. So that's in base mining and crafting. The first patch. What will come later is we'll also introduce jewelry. 2 new equipment slots for necklace and rings. Though through crafting, you'll only be able to create these necklaces and rings, and they will provide no stat bonuses. Though you will be able to enchant them, but I am getting a little bit ahead of myself. So, on the note of crafting, let's talk about soul crafting. And now we're going into more mystical area from this industrial area. Through battles, now you will acquire empty souls, as drops from Z's. And in the mainland, in the initial mainland release, you will only have access to grasslands, and in these grasslands, you will be able to convert these souls into you'll be able to attune these souls to water, fire, or grass. That's simple, right? And later on, or if you're a landholder having a more exotic biome, you can attune them to souls that are not yet available through how do we put this, through only the players that play in the mainland. So that's an angle. All right. I hope you guys can follow me well. Not too confusing. This will all be so much simpler, visually. But so you create these souls through these altars, and essentially you transform empty souls as drops from battles into something usable. So let's talk use. That comes to shamanism. A way to look at it's your like a magic skill. And initially you will have I believe 7, maybe a bit more spells available to you. And to cast these spells, either in battle or outside of it, you will need to spend these earth souls and others to cast the spell. So we're getting 6. Oh no, we're getting even more spells. So at the beginning there is even though there's level requirements, there's 6 offensive spells, one of each type, single target or AOE, and you just damage the opponent's Z. Uh, and that takes place at the same time where you eat. So you can either eat, change equipment, or drink a potion, or cast a spell. So you can effectively just add a little bit more DPS to your attacks. And for example, you go into an Umber dungeon, and there's like this one chomp that's about to stun you, and then you can, cast a spell, maybe defeat him, and process further. So I hope that's clear, guys. If you have any questions regarding this at all, do ask. I'm just gonna keep going. So spells we're also getting is a teleport spell. I know we had a brief teaser in game regarding teleport spells, which was hidden under the unstuck button, which unfortunately not intended, and did not award any shamanism XP. But now you will be able to teleport back. Initially, teleport back to the, let's call it, home city, with more intricate teleports and more functionality coming at a later time. But yeah, and then the final spell, and the one I'm the most excited about, and I think you guys will be excited too. As previously I mentioned in crafting, you can create all of these items, right? And obviously, the thought in my head was like, item inflation, they won't be worth anything. But the final spell is called Lower Transmutation, indicating that a higher tiers of transmutations might come as well. These spells would essentially allow you to transmute your item into V. Let's say I create 10 iron shields, and I can take these 10 iron shields, I can transmute them and convert them into V. So what I find so cool about this is that, for example, I have energy potion sickness. I don't want to drink them anymore. I hate them. I just use, for example, 10 energy per day, and while they're recovering, I can run around the town and the map. I can mine something. I can attune the souls. I can skill, and then transform the results of my skills into V. And I know a lot of people are like waiting for their Z's to level up. They're almost there, not quite. And I feel like this is such a great way to acquire a bit more V through not directly playing dungeons, which is pretty cool, I think. It's gonna be off-chain V, straight into the game, usable for evolution. Sorry, upgrades, not evolutions. And
Yeah, I mean, if you want to pay gas fees for every single cast, then that's an option as well. But yeah, maybe I can like just add a bit here. So yeah, we have like these 4 new skills coming in, and like as always, we kind of start small, so we pretty much deploy the systems themselves, and so to say, create a problems which later are solved by like a new content coming in. And these 4 skills are particularly exciting because they kind of complete and finish uh, the framework for economy what we're building. And at that point, we could basically draw the line and say, okay, the the main things are in a game. It's kind of like finished to the point where we can finally start focusing more on the content. And yeah, so uh like one thing we won't talk much about is the beta. That's because we've been working to prepare like some uh interesting campaign. Like, I mean, when we will launch a campaign, obviously guys, you'll have idea that what it is about, but I mean, I don't want to spoil it. And like, I've had a chance for last few days to already start to play the beta, and I mean, like, fuck, I don't want to spoil it. It's going to be, that's a different game. And that's coming together with these four skills, and we're like looking on a bigger map size, we're looking on a bunch of stuff, and and we are like yeah, I mean, the world becomes alive, and like these skills, they're the way how you interact with the world, they're the way how you, no, I'm not gonna spoil it. So and for instance, like shamanism is particularly exciting because it's something what allows you to interact with the battles as you're battling either in the dungeons or doing like some raids. That kind of gives you an edge. Of course, there is like some trade-offs. You have to put in like a souls, which are essentially like consumables for the like magic, in order to use these spells inside a battle, and it definitely just kind of builds up on few things which are already great. And I do believe we have really good combat system. I mean, fine, we are like adding some changes from time to time. We're balancing it, but this just adds another layer, so it adds more depth. But at the same time, shamanism skill is also about interacting with the world around you. And as the world gets bigger, we start to see like these challenges, these annoying things. Oh, okay, now we have like this huge ass world. It's so cool, but fuck, I don't want to like run for forever, right? And having like a certain level which gives you ability to teleport across different locations will be a pretty dope thing and will definitely play a big role. And yeah, and then when it comes to Jackal mentioned transmutation skill, that's a transmutation spell. That's something which will play a really crucial role into recycling the stuff what players are farming generally. I mean, right now you go to wood cutting, you chop some wood, you get these logs, and you end up burning them, which is fine. I mean, you train your farm making level, which is going to be quite valuable at that point. But at the same time, you produce so much wood, and you will be able to turn this wood and the ores you mine into something usable through the crafting skill. But in order to train crafting skill, you are like making the same stuff hundreds, maybe even thousands of times. And and if one player can create like 1,000 pieces of armor, then I mean, uh high level armor for sure will be in demand because that's also made from high level materials. But lower level stuff will need to be recycled, and this will become a really good way to train your shamanism skill as you are taking these items in, recycling them, and depending on item, either turning a profit or doing like having a loss whenever you earn some experience. So depending on an item, I believe there will be few items which actually yields you a profit while you're training the skill itself. So yeah, it's any plans on using the evolve Z's as a mount? Not really. So a thing we have hinted some time ago was that llamas from the Curve collection would essentially become a mount. We still like are figuring mechanics around it because we don't want to like let you run forever. But yeah. So can we also participate in beta before it launches? Yes. I mean, that's actually part of our plan, and the only thing I can say is this won't be just like regular update as we have had like past 2 years. Uh, it's something like it's big, and the way we plan to release it is through limited access at the beginning. Fuck, I don't want to like tell too much. Okay, long story short, if you want access on day one, either you have to have a mask or land. That's it. So, next.
Well said. So here's a great question by Tyler, and I kind of actually did wanted to ask you this myself. So transmuting the items, uh, every item, the prices wouldn't change. It would have like for low transmutation. Let's say this item you transmute iron armor would yield, for example, 100V at a low transmutation, and later, for example, at high transmutation, it would yield like 200V. Would this also like create these like floor prices for items in the market? Because I know Gex only trades in consumable items, and you'll only be able to transmute finished products, correct? And it would essentially create this, floor price. If people sell under, some people can buy it and actually, transmute themselves and create profit out of it, correct?
Like in a way, so from economics, is because like the limitation for game exchange for the gex is that it's not very it doesn't work very well with low supply items. I mean, we can't put in like Sword of Shields in liquidity pool. It just doesn't make any sense. Like slippage would be too insane, and it's just not gonna work. But when we're looking on craftable items, even if they are not consumable, I think we'll be able to create these liquidity pools. But the thing about like the math behind the transmutation is so every single item they have its own like fixed uh, value for transmutation. So it doesn't follow Gex. It just has like this fixed value which you will get every time you like burn this item through transmutation. The thing, however, is sometimes you will see, and I think in many cases you will see the items listed on a Gex for much cheaper than what their transmutation value is. Because in order to do transmutation, you also need to have the souls, and every time you like perform your spell, your magic, you need to you will use the souls, and every soul obviously has their own price and their own value. And so when we're looking economically on this, what we will get, so we'll have the price of souls which you need in order to perform the transmutation, and the fixed value of the item plus arbitrage option on the gex. So in many cases you will see that you can buy these items cheaper on the gex. If you craft these souls for by yourself, good for you. Then you will definitely end up yielding some profits on this. If you end up buying the souls, that's kind of again up to the market. But yeah, I hope that sheds some light.
And I think it also, like, as more people like get their levels up and craft more and more souls, the price can also go down for the souls, which also plays into it as well.
Yeah, I think this actually brings us to the topic you were hinting at the beginning. So we'll have like a bunch of different spells available in the Shaman book, but there will only be 3 soul crafting stations on the world, which will allow you to craft basic elemental souls. But whenever you need to perform a magic, you need elemental soul plus you need let's call them
Aggregator soul.
like like an action soul. The recipe always is you need elemental soul and you need some action soul. And these action souls, they will go by tiers. So the higher level magic you want to perform, the better action soul you will need, but they will still use the same elemental souls. So the thing is, how do I get action souls if there is no like soul crafting altar available? There will be They will come as really rare drops in the beginning from maybe some dungeons and so on, but generally players who own the land and will find these, like, let's put it that way, missing soul crafting altars in their own land plot will be pretty much responsible for all of the production of these souls. And the same thing pretty much applies to crafting skill, woodcutting skill, mining skill. Because, I mean, on the grassland, we release few resources, but you won't find gold on grassland, you won't find silver on grassland, and you won't find like any exotic ores, which are reserved for like different biomes. And because you have a land and access to those biomes, you will also get access to those resources through your lands. So this basically becomes like catalysator for land utility, and that in return kind of completes the picture where it really makes sense for people to go on the lands, farm, play, participate in economy, and yeah, I mean, we will give you the base tools and lots and lots of content will exclusively be available only on a private lands.
To add to this, it would, with time, as the Zeme, the mainland, unlocks, it would, with time, introduce these resources, but obviously they are shared resources, and as you guys have experience with, for example, fishing and the woodcutting already, you must imagine how contested these resource plots would be. There's a couple of various tidbits I wanted to add to get you more hyped. When I was talking about crafting, I mentioned 2 new equipment slots. And I know you guys asked for tattoos, but in reality, nobody ever sees tattoos because you have so much equipment worn. And then I wanted to say as a joke, we thought about the skill tattooing, but we never did think about it. But we did think about and decided to add 2 more equipment slots. And as I mentioned in crafting, you would craft basic, for example, gold ring, right? And it wouldn't do anything at all unless you enchant it. And that's another thing that's coming with shamanism, you being able to enchant these items. Now, enchanting would unlock similarly to how, for example, let's say you have a judicator staff, and then you see these in these yellow brackets the enchantments of these and the equipment bonuses, right? And same thing, how shamanism would allow you to unlock the full potential of some of these items. Now I talked with our game design, and looking it from like a complete view when all of the skills and crafting and all of the items are unlocked up to like level 90 and so on. One different thing coming with crafting is that, for example, let's say you have this Pacha item set that has these unique set bonuses, and that's a thing you wouldn't necessarily get from crafting. As Euler and us both, we have mentioned that these Genesis items, not only from Genesis collection, even from Corn collection, these items they wouldn't be like these are the starting items.
Yeah, I
But now when
mean,
with crafting we wouldn't release any more new items that also Euler, am I correct in saying
yeah,
that with crafting corn loot pods also go night night?
yeah.
They
I guess
get
that's the Malva to share. So it's there. Yeah, we'll remove the corn loot pod, and that kind of effectively caps the collection itself. So, like I said, we don't want to. We had like these loot pods in order to give you chance try equipment. It also gave us chance to test it, balance it, and kind of figure it out. But the moment we have a crafting in place, I mean, I've been like always repeating player-driven economy, player-driven economy. Like I'm already sick of like repeating the thing, but when we have a crafting, the stuff you create, the stuff we have inside economy is created by you, and that basically means we want to like limit every possible external source, which kind of comes from us directly. So more market for you, less stuff to manage for us. I mean, but yeah, so it's kind of I think important that we protect the integrity of economy and give some strong utilities for these skills and like skills generally they reflect your time investment and commitment for the game. So we want to reward that accordingly. Yeah. So corn loot pods, all corn equipment, everything. Bye bye.
and just to it's obviously it's like the end game of crafting. It's all work in progress, but just to clarify, uh, I'm not sure about the very end game items, but generally these items won't have bonuses like the current items have, and obviously because they will be, uh, you know, more like, let's say they will be expensive to produce, but they will be produced a lot more, and
Yeah,
that's also a thing. We respect the hierarchy of these equipment. Euler, you
yeah,
wanted to add something?
exactly. And I mean, like, there will be some items which are not like completely crafted. I mean, like right now you do like a forge and there is like legendary drop you can get, or you go to like Umbra and there is like adjudicator stuff you can get. Uh, we'll still have like some equipment for PVM, for PVMers who will go and like do these crazy challenges. Like one thing we've already teased a while ago is like co-op mode. So obviously that holds like some drop, but the way we are thinking around this is for sure some of the items. For some of the items, there will be kind of like half craftable. As an like for example, you go to the like this dungeon super hard mode. There is like big ass boss, and you kill it, and you get, let's say, like a shield shard. But in order to use that shield shard, you actually need to craft it into shield, and that, let's say, requires you like really high crafting level. So the inflation in a way is controlled by the drop rate, but in order to actually produce it into some equipable item, you need to have a skill for that. And I think this will bring in some balance for some stuff which is quite easily obtainable and farmable, and some stuff which is way more exotic. And yeah.
Right.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I saw like one guy. Will there be large-scale battles in the game where all guild members will be able to deal damage to the boss? I mean, we don't have like plans right now for like world boss raids where you have like huge ass boss and hundreds of people are trying to slay it. I mean, it will make sense at some point. We'll have to get there, but what we will have sooner than later is the co-op mode, and that's maybe a bit more strategic play where you will be teaming up with two of your friends. So in total, you have like 3 players required for activity, and then you go in and then you have to like think, and you have to coordinate, and you have to communicate how to like win the boss. And the beauty of this is it will be built as a raid. So the idea is that it's not about like just having high levels enough. It's also about not fucking up, because uh, if you don't communicate, if you don't like read, if you don't read the game correctly, and even if it's like one of you and you fail to do your job as a team member, you all get wiped out and you start from the beginning. So this is kind of our vision for raid battles. Yeah. Can we add a feature to add friends in game so that we can invite them for future raids? That's actually a really good suggestion. I mean, yeah, it's quite simple and almost essential feature. So we'll squeeze that in at some point. I believe even we could have it already sitting in our backlog. But yeah, that's a good thing you pointed out.
On this note, and this is not like this is not a vision level of teaser, but I was walking. It was walking. I was walking past a dev, and I saw him working on the raids today, and I did ask him to, just hey, can you just drop me a screenshot of this, and let me quickly pull up of the party menu. Where is it?
Okay, yeah. While you're at it, this has been in development for a while. We won't like really force this update because there are like few other priorities before that. But it will be released again sooner than later. Just okay.
It's simple. I
Okay.
just, that's what I'm
Okay.
saying. It's not even like a vision level of teaser because it's obviously still in progress. I just thought, yeah, cool. Preparation.
Well, that dev has too many V tokens. 86 million V9. Okay.
What? Normal amount for dev.
Yeah, I mean, for this, we want to create like a really cool experience, and this will be tied together with the Forge. So you will have to slay Vulcan. You will have to do some quests before you actually get access to this thing, and and uh and once you get access, it will be like not just like one portal. We actually want to create like a small region out of this. So yeah. By like for the record, that V you see there is like it's like a fake interface. So it's like yeah, it's
No,
it's uh, it's
that's
a sandbox environment. I mean,
yeah,
otherwise
that
people may get a wrong idea. Uh, yeah, we are like actually super strict with this thing. So we have logs, so we see every single time there is like some V token added or removed. If we need to do so in order to like solve some problems or some bugs where yeah, uh, that's uh, that's for a record. So what
so yeah,
else?
yeah, that kind of there's like still like various. All right, some other things I just wanted to add that's not coming initially, but small things like these gets me super hyped, and I want to share it with you. Shamanism, and there's something Euler said. You know, shamanism also uh, feels like an answer to problems because it introduces quality of life things. And one thing I saw from like this draft game design has about spells that could come for shamanism was water plant, that you can immediately just cast a spell to water the plant, and such a small thing, but now I don't need to carry these buckets. That I don't need to run to the nearby pond, and from like a different perspective, I don't need to buy a bucket uh, or cure. Uh, I saw there's a cure plant one, and similar idea. And one thing maybe to one way to look at it would be, as you journey through the world, instead of like keeping your inventory totally empty, you always keep like these souls that al- always would provide multiple utilities. And then for example you're farming, then you cure the plants, and yeah, some other no, that will be teased later. Yeah, I think shamanism is so cool, and I also think it's like it feels like the way we put out the skills. For me, shamanism feels like this is what it we've been building up to. I don't know if you agrees with me, because I feel like it wraps everything together. It like gives the end point for a lot of other skills.
Yeah, I mean, once we have like these four skills in place, I think you will see a lot of value for the levels you already trained on the existing skills, but generally it's just it's kind of finally connecting the dots, and you will start to see more where we're going with this. And more importantly, it finally gives us ability to start focus on some more content. I mean, uh, like we were always upfront when we said like with the fishing we gave you like a demo fish. With the wood cutting we gave you like a few like trees few tree types to just essentially start training the skill. And we have always like kept everything back because it just doesn't really make it's kind of like adding furniture in a house which doesn't have windows yet. And now we are putting in the windows. Now we're putting on the roof of the whole thing, and we can really start like adding the cool stuff, the stuff you want, the stuff what excites people, and actually stuff what really excites us as well. And it just kind of will all connect so together. And like Jackal mentioned, for example, like you can now use like shamanism. If you, let's say, have like level 40 shamanism, you can now use the spell to water the plant. The downside of this, it costs you some souls. The upside of it, you don't have to go and get the water, right? But in order to unlock this skill, in order to unlock this spell, it will be most likely locked behind some quest. So in order to unlock it, you have to complete the quest. Most likely, this quest will also have a bunch of requirements, which, to give you an idea, an example, let's say you go speak with some farmer, some weird farmer who knows some tricks and tips about shamanism and magic, and but he has like a problem and you have to solve it. So he says, let's say an example, he has like a brother who is missing in mountains, so you have to go and find the guy. You go all these things, and down the road you see like there is a fallen tree. In order to pass the tree, you need to cut it down, like cut it through. But in order to cut it through, let's say you need like level 60 wood cutting. And if you have like wood cutting, good for you. If you don't, you go and train, so you can complete the quest. So you cut it through, and then you go, and then there is like you find the brother, and turns out the brother has some other problem you need to solve, and that may also require some skill or some item, either which you need to craft or action you need to perform, which requires you to have like a certain skill level. And once you unlock it, it kind of makes so much sense for every single skill, but at the same time, every single piece of content you unlock is in somewhat interconnected and also gated in a way. So it's not just about like grinding one single skill. It will kind of make you interact with most of the game. Yeah, give it or take it. So that's pretty much bit chaotic idea, an example how some of these things will be locked. And also another thing I can spill beans a bit on is play to airdrop campaign. I saw like some guys were asking on I think it was Mask's chat or Chief channel about, will like my Z's matter on the play to airdrop, will my like skills matter on play to airdrop. And I'll try to be vague. I don't want to like say something and then the whole thing is recorded, so later something changes, you will come at me. But the way we plan to do this is we want to make play to airdrop actually about play, not just like farming some engagement or just like do some leaderboard stuff, or just, it has to be play. It has to be something what people get excited about. It has to be something what make you excited about. And it will be really centered around the quest. And this quest it's not like go on and fucking cut 100 logs of tree. Maybe you will need to do that in order to get skill level to complete the quest, but quests won't be about that. Quests will be about these adventures, which we will keep adding as play to airdrop campaign goes. So it will be just like ongoing process. And as we go with this, it kind of opens up the story. It kind of walks you through the world. And I mean, one of really cool things about this is for content creators, it's gonna be really cool content to create, because it's something what people can watch and look at, even if they don't play Zevers, even if they don't understand something. And what I'm referring is when people are creating like guides or some content around dungeons. I mean, we play Zevers, we really understand what's happening on the screen, but for regular player, it's kind of like watching a board game being played out. If you don't really understand the rules or what's happening, it's not that exciting. And these quests finally open up, and yeah, make Zevers more batchable from the content creation standpoint. And I mean, you can take your fans, followers, whatever, on a journey in these adventures through like completing the quest. So I think it will be really really organic, and at the same time answering like to these previous questions about will my like levels matter or will my Z levels matter? It will matter as well, directly and indirectly. So there will be some achievements. Like we want, I mean, we really want to pay respect to players who spend so much time during like last months and years to level up their skills, and we wanna find a way to make it count. So we will find a way to make it count, and that will probably come as some sort of actually, but like I mean, we don't want to make it like Excel sheet where every single level or every single XP you earn kind of adds something and end up with a complex system. But we want to kind of create a way to celebrate these milestones you have achieved, and then reward you for that. And the same goes for disease. So it will be pretty dope. It will be pretty dope experience, and honestly, I can't just wait to share more about this. But yeah, that's what's up, and that's what's happening uh, behind the scenes. So yeah, Jack, I'll take the mic. So I stop.
Oh, actually, I'm gonna pass it right back to you because what I wanted to ask about is, and there's like a lot of people coming in and asking about how does Zevers Mini ties into the play to. I mean, it's own uh, play to airdrop, but how does does it at all tie in with this campaign?
So like Zevers Mini will okay. I don't wanna. I'm like thinking, what can I tell? What can I can? Okay, so Zevers Mini is and will be part of Play to Airdrop. So in the past, we launched like two events inside the Zevers Mini. So there was like general Zevers Mini launch, and then there were Zevers Mini like land update. So we really like the gameplay. I mean, it's something. It's the easiest way for anyone to get exposure to Zevers IP, because like the game is so simple yet so rage inducing, so addicting, so I mean engaging in a way, uh, that it's a perfect tool to onboard your friend into Zevers IP. It's a perfect tool to onboard like any regular player, even from Web2, into Zevers. So we will have something special prepared for Zevers Mini as well. Yeah, so that's all can I say for now.
Cool. All right. So Um, there. So Guangwan asked, will the quest of shamanism only happen in the mainland, or will it happen on the player's land? Uh, uh,
I mean,
quest
there
or
like I mean, yeah, the question is probably about like the quests, but I think easy and short answer is no, at least not at the beginning, because like it's a very specific environment and it's not entirely controlled by us, so it's hard to create these first experiences, but that doesn't mean we won't be doing so, and I think it really makes sense. So why not? I mean, let us start simple, and then we can go there and we can build few quest lines, which requires players to travel to these lands, and I think that's actually a really good idea.
uh, there was one good question. I wanted to get your thoughts on. I think it was by Global Half. Let me quickly find it. While I'm looking for it, Beautiful Life asked, if we own all types of land biomes, will we have more benefits to the game? Uh, maybe you can quickly talk about how, owning. I mean, if you own all types of land biomes, holy! But
There can
maybe you
only
can
be
talk more
one
about.
people who can own all, because like two of biomes will be one to ones, one of ones. But yeah, I mean, obviously there is a lots of benefits to that because for a good time, as big game will be on the launch on the beta, it's still small compared to what we have on the plans, and it will only present you one region with some like limited materials. So everything else will be found on player lands. And let's say, I'll give you an example. If you own like, Jael, give me an idea for biome.
Highlands.
Highlands. Okay, if you own highlands, on the highlands you can find mithril, and mithril is used to craft pretty advanced armor. It's used to craft better axes, better pickaxes. It's used for really good stuff. But only way how you can obtain mithril is if you mine it, and because only mithril, like only source of mithril is available on your player land, it means if you own it, you own the like the source of the thing. And now if you like extrapolate that to owning multiple biomes, it kind of increases your exposure to like assortment of these different resources. And like, I mean, if you own like highlands, you have probably mithril there, you have probably other resources. Then you own like desert biome, and and that has probably like some gold, it has some rare gems in it. You may own like a tundra, it has again some materials specific to that biome. And if you can cover like all spectrum of biomes, that means you and your like group and clan is gets access to pretty much whole economy of the game. And if you choose to let in like select players, I mean that's up to you. You will still have to manage the community token part. So if you open everybody who owns a community token, probably you get some nice price action on your community token. If you're really picky, I mean, some players they just won't buy the token if they cannot get in return in your land. So you set the rules, we step aside. So yeah, it's like owning every DLC we'll have in the future right now, and have the access to it right now.
So there was a question from Global Hub, and I think it like st- I think it's good for us to talk about. Uh, the question was, would we consider moving energy potion crafting fish to potions off chain? And just wanted, to get your thoughts on this.
I mean, maybe. So to think about this, we actually have to think how we get there. So we had like a really bumpy transfer from fully on chain to partly on chain, and then moving to treasure chain. So we'll probably address this at one point. So we just haven't like really looked into this because I mean it could make sense. We have to think about this more, and especially that's important because we may even change the way how energy potions are being crafted. Because like when we had the fishing skill released, we understood that we need like a really good way to burn a bunch of fish. So, but then again, just take a step back and think: does does it really make sense to convert 40 fish in one energy potion? Lore wise, fuck, I don't know. So as we have all these new skills coming in, I think we'll probably end up reworking potion crafting as whole. So whoever asked the question, you probably release the genie from the bottle, and yeah, we may end up changing that altogether.
Right. And Genie from
Yeah,
Bao.
I see people like writing in chat about riding the llamas. Yeah, that's actually one of the utilities we'll have for the llama, and yeah, I mentioned earlier when we started the community call that we're still like figuring out the mechanics behind this, but the llamas will be rideable, and we see this as a pretty cool way again to reward our early believers. Some guys who I think there are a bunch of guys who actually joined and were originally participating in Curve event where these llamas were minted. So yeah, we'll probably start there, and as we go, we may later expand into some other ways to get around the map quicker. But yeah, I see there's nothing cooler than riding your llama. Uh, so that's that.
I guess to clarify, currently we don't really have plans. For example, obviously, if you think about the sizes of things, llamas really are maybe the only ones you could like naturally ride. We can a Genesis Z's maybe, but obviously you couldn't just kick Hotpot out of his pot or like dry the pot or
Yeah,
something like that.
I mean you're right. That would be like so freaking weird. It's like
And yeah, additionally, I know other suggestion we actually face quite a lot, and not to say no, it just to address these carrying your items back to back to your stash. While we are thinking about Z passives, it just from lore wise, some Z's wouldn't either have the capacity to bring them or the intelligence to put items in the stash, and we have to think about like what makes sense instead of just putting like blanket functionality onto the Z's for and that kind of brings us full circle back to llamas because they look very rideable. Just hop on and go.
Incredible.
But as Euler mentioned, they might get tired after a while. And
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, like I see, like mentioning here, like pals in Pal World. Actually, I remember when the game came out, I really looked into it. It's at the beginning, it felt like I don't know, crack cocaine, basically. It's just
Um,
so fast, so rapid. It kind of got boring quite quickly. Uh, at least for me a bit, but definitely it kind of planted this idea that we want to give these more utility than them just battling. And I think it really makes sense that some utilities, some Z's has a certain type of utilities. For example, you have like some fire Z's. They can probably do some stuff with fire making and help you to do cooking or something like that. And then you have like some Z's who could be really good with like a woodcutting skill. And yeah, I mean, we really like the idea, and it's just again connecting the dots. So once we have all the systems for the skills released, we finally have a room to explore and just start to connect these few dots. And I mean, the beauty of this is once we have this in place, it feels so easy and quick to add these things because foundation is good. And yeah, so uh, cool thing pointed out, and we'll do that as well.
so there's another thing, and this is also a thing that floats around uh, a lot, and uh, uh, crafting bags and increased inventory slot size. Could you comment on this?
Okay, so I've seen like I've seen pretty much every single comment you wrote in chat regarding these things in the past. I mean, sometimes I feel that we could make a version where you just don't play at all and like fish 1,000 fish at the same time. But okay, jokes aside, the thing about inventory and like these 20 slots we have right now is it's quite important to have like this general rule of no more than 20 items plus your equipment at any time when you just like walking around, because that helps us to balance a bunch of things. However, however, I see a like a place where we could end up adding some really special specific bags which doesn't increase your like inventory, but it can hold like some specific type of item. For instance, it could possibly be like a fishing net where like some small fishing bag where you can place in like additional like 5 or 10 fish, but you still need to carry that fishing bag inside your inventory. And this kind of means that we can experiment with these things while not messing up the base system of inventory. So yeah, like we'll have so much room for these different things, which makes sense. And I mean, again, it's not just about like giving you bag. It would also mean we will probably create a quest. So in order to get that bag, you need to complete the quest. In order to complete the quest, you need to do a bunch of other stuff as well. And when you actually end up receiving this bag, you understand the value of it, and it kind of yeah, it kind of makes sense to
It,
earn it. But we don't want to
it's
kind of yeah, sorry.
no, I just wanted to say, like, it's an incredible point. Um, uh, two of them. One about and I think I could maybe define it better when you mentioned like these fishing bags, or for example, like soul pouches where you could store multiple souls. These are all like quality of life bags that free instead of increasing your inventory size, it frees it up by bundling these things together. And the second thing is, and I think that's the best way to go about introducing these things, is you have to go through a huge ordeal and experience a true challenge for you to be rewarded with easier life afterwards. And I think that's the best way to introduce these things, instead of
Yeah.
just going onto the market and purchasing it. And because that does not involve you into the game, because as you initially said, uh, you know, just
Yeah, I mean,
sometimes.
it like when we think about design, it's all about it's all about like creating these rewarding experiences, because I think that's what gaming is about. It's you know, you don't want, even if you have money to spend on like fancy stuff, there should be things which are acquired by you, and I think these things are what kind of truly feels the investment of time and passion being rewarded. Because yeah, I mean gaming is, it's like a journey, and we want to take you to one of most extraordinary journeys for in gaming, Web3 gaming for sure. So it will be like experience which is like ever evolving, and it will have room so for so much cool stuff. And I think when we'll give you access to the beta, your imagination will just give you way more ideas than you would ever think of. I mean, it's yeah, we want to create truly magical experience, and it will come with a lot of small things which makes it real, which makes it fun, and we'll just add them as we go. So yeah, and also again, I want to remind we are in alpha, at least now. We'll be in a beta really soon, but when I'm saying we are in alpha, we are like actually in alpha, and like normal games, you wouldn't be even able to play it at this stage with this much content. And even if you would be able to play it, usually the companies just erase the whole progress and restart game from scratch. So we're kind of like managing these things, and before before we want to make your life easier by adding like extra slots and some fancy stuff, we need to build and finish the house, and all the cool stuff will come once the house is ready. So yeah, just just think of it like that. It doesn't really make sense to add stuff when we're still in the process of building the basics.
And just to use this use this analogy to answer about the dust. Let's build a house first and then put something to smoke in it later. But that'll come with I believe full release of private lands. And yeah.
Yeah. So, I guess we can start to wrap up. Jagan,
One
you
final,
mentioned in the
yeah.
beginning exactly one more thing. Mike is yours.
Uh,
Also, don't forget to let's take a snapshot so we can
I
give
I
away one
I did I,
mask. I already did.
I did take a snapshot. I also noticed that there's some people with similar names. Took a look at them, and these similar type name people joined at the same date last year, and they won't be included, unfortunately. But there is one final thing, and actually, if somebody was super quick to see it, initially when I posted the announcement for Community Call, uh, it had a bit different description because I wanted to put in a small teaser, and then I edited it out, and it's about carrots. So your previously we had a buffer allocation drop party, and some of you already got your buffer allocation, and you guys traded it. Some collected it. Some tried to get rid of it as fast as they can. And together with Puffer, we've decided uh, we'll airdrop, not airdrop. We'll distribute through drop parties. Uh, 5 of them to be exact over a span of 4 weeks. Uh, Approximately what is it? 32,000 more Puffer allocation tokens, and you'll be able to exchange them for Carrot. And yeah, that's how you'll be able to use and transmute your Puffer allocation to an actual token. And we're very excited to work with Puffer's team on this. And yeah, announcement from them is coming out in a second, and then we'll announce the times and the amounts, the dates for the parties. And yeah, coming soon, and we'll go on for 4 weeks, 5 parties. So not a rush, and yeah, cool. I'm really happy that we get to take these uh, uh, start started things and bring them to fruition, and yeah, guys.
Yeah. Just a quick note. So we will be posting. It's gonna be Medium article about buffer allocation, or just like announcement. We'll share more details. Um, can we say already what's the allocated number of carrots we have? Yeah, we can probably do.
I would much rather allow Puffer to tell it
Ah,
first.
okay, okay, okay. Yeah. So announcement coming shortly about that. Buffer have prepared a gift for us for our community, and like we've been friends uh since while ago. Before before anyone knew about them, and super cool guys, and we're also looking into tapping their ecosystem as well, and like the carrot is the way, like their airdrop token. I think they have a liquidity for that. So either you can sell the token, or I think there are like some uh, utilities where you can stake the carrot and then you can earn yield of buffer token. But I mean, we have to double check on that. It's what Popper is doing, and we're super happy that we were able to get allocation for you guys, and what a Weather Bay to through some parties to get this going.
Yeah, and when you think about it, with the stick parties that eventually led to the Vicarite event, the amount of magic that went through the parties, uh, and the very exciting amount of carrot that you'll be able to get your hands on. Uh, man, our drop parties are really no joke.
Yeah, that's true. I think as we scale up, fuck, they're gonna become so much more unique because we see like the party island as one of best ways how we can collaborate with literally any project. And this is kind of where airdrop literally plays out because the stuff is falling from air, and it's like we'll be able to just airdrop tens of thousands of dollars every month just through the party island for the community. And yeah, I mean that's super exciting. And as we scale, like more people join, bigger parties, bigger prize pools. Yeah, that's I'm always so stoked when I'm super unlucky in those parties. So for reference, when we had like a magic party, I think I got like 2 or 3 tokens in total. But the vibe, the atmosphere, like the people participating, that's worth for me way more than few of these tokens. But it's always nice that there is nice prizes. So yeah, we will be pushing the Party Island as one of the main collab uh, tools for other projects, and I mean that's a good way to reward the community.
Yeah, sometimes the vodka really smiles on you in the drop parties. Like the one video I posted on our Twitter as well. You can see me front running. I think it's like I actually think there's Tyler in the video, and I'm just like front running and picking up all the boxes. And that was like the greatest run I'll ever have in these drop parties. Because then again, I usually share the same luck with you in those parties. But yeah. All right,
Okay.
guys, on this note, I think we could also wrap up. Uh,
Yeah.
I believe so.
Thanks. Thank you everyone for coming. Thank you for questions. Have a great week, and we'll have another community call next week. We'll have a party next week, maybe. I don't know. That's the Jackal, and